Good morning, boys and girls. We are on page 25, lesson 5 homework. Make sure you guys are turning to the correct page number. So we are on page 25, lesson 5 homework. Okay? So I'm going to be going over lesson 5 homework, and I'm going to read the first question out loud. The first question says right here, express as decimal numerals. The first one is done for you. So that means that they want you to write your answer in a decimal. And we've been doing that for the past 4 days. So we have been writing decimals. So that's what they want you to do. They want you to write in decimals. They're going to give you word form and you're going to write in decimal. Or they might give you a fraction and you're going to write it in a decimal. So the first one says here 5/1000ths. So what that person did, or what you need to do, is you're going to get your place value chart and you're going to put, you notice that there is 1.005. You're going to put it in. And if you notice, it is at 5/1000ths. It's at the thousands place, so that's why it's called 5/1000ths. Next, we have 35/1000ths. Now, imagine if I were to put 35 in here. I think I've told you this before, but you cannot put two numbers in one place value position, because that would not make sense. That's not how it works. You can only have one number in one place value. So what actually happens is this 3 gets crossed off and goes to the position that is before that, okay? So what your real number is going to be is 35/1000ths. Your 5 is going to be in the thousands place, and your 3 is going to be in your hundreds place. So I'm going to write that number down, 0.035, or as you say it, 35/1000ths. Next, we have 9 and 235/1000ths. So I'm going to write that in. I have 9, right? Maybe it'll help if I write it right above for you guys to see. We have 9n. N means that there's a little decimal. 235/1000ths. So they skipped right over the tenths and they went to 200, and then it was 235/1000ths. I'm gonna show you guys that on here. So we have 9/1000ths, 235/1000ths. So thousands is in the last place, and then you have 3 before that, and you're 200. So 9 and 235/1000ths. Now it's interesting because the only place value that matters is the very last one, which is thousands. So that's the number where you want to put it all. Okay, so I'm going to write down 9 and 235/1000ths. Now the next problem I have says 805/1000ths. The word n always, I repeat, always means a decimal, okay? Whenever you see the word n, that means a decimal. So I'm going to write that down. 800. So that means it goes in the 800s place. And 805/1000ths. So 5 goes in the thousands, and you're going to fill the rest with zeros. So this is my number, 805/1000ths. There you go. Now the next one I have says 8,000s. That means the 8 is in the thousands place. Where's the thousands? We have our tenths, our hundreds, our thousands. So this is where our 8 is going to go for thousands. I'm going to add my zeros, because if I don't, then I'm going to get a completely different number. I might get 8/10ths, which is not correct. This is 8,000. So I'm going to write down 8,000s. Next, we have 28,000s. Now, remember I said earlier, that means that you're basically putting 28 in thousands place. But remember, you can only have one number. So you're going to bump up this 2, and you're going to fill it in with all your zeros. So your answer should be 28,000s. My next one, I have 5 not 5, sorry. I have 7 and 528 thousandths. Now, when you see that 7 right there, you notice that it is a whole number. When something is a whole number, it means that it always goes before the decimal. So that means that it is in the ones place, okay? And then we have 528 thousandths. So imagine if you have 528 thousandths right here. You're going to bump your 5 over here. You're going to bump your 2 right here. So the only number that belongs there is an 8. So you have 7 and 528 thousandths. Okay. Now the next number I have here is 300 and 502 thousandths. So I'm going to write in 300 and 502 thousandths. 502 thousandths. Your 2 needs to end in the thousands place, and it did. So we have 300 and 502 thousandths. Okay. Now for number 2, they ask you to express each of the following values in words. So that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to express each one in words. So if I were to plug in this number right here, 0.008, I notice that it lands in the thousands. So how I read this would be 8 thousandths. Okay? There is no other zeros before, or no other whole number before that, so you don't need to say 0 and 8 thousandths. You can just say 8 thousandths. Okay? For problem B, you have 15 and 62 thousandths. So I know that 15, I'm going to plug in that number so you can clearly see it. The 2 ends in the thousands place again. 15 is read regularly as 15. The decimal is always read as end, and you have 62 thousandths. That means there's nothing in the tens place, so that's why there's a 0 right there. Now, our next number is 607 and 409 thousandths. Again, it's in the thousands place. 607 and 409 thousandths. The 9 is in the thousands place. The last number is the only number where you're going to say what place value it is in, okay? So written down here is 607 and 409 thousandths. 409 thousandths, yes. Now, problem number 3 asks you to write the number on a place value chart, then write it in expanded form using fractions or decimals to express the decimal place value units. The first one is already done for you. So right here what I did was I knew that they were asking me to write it in either expanded form, which looks like this, or to write it as decimal units, which is written like a place value chart. So I wrote it down right here. Make sure you write it down as well. This is the place value chart, and this is the expanded form. Okay, we're going to turn to the next page. Now right here we have the place value chart. Okay, so I'm going to label it place value chart, and I drew it out. I plugged in my numbers and I labeled my ones place, my tens place, my hundreds place, and my thousands place. Okay, now I want to write it in expanded form. Expanded form is a little different than what we've been learning, right? Expanded form is different. Expanded form means that you write every single number out. I don't know if you guys remember this, but if you have 362, and if you were to write that in expanded form, it would look like this: 300 plus 60 plus 2. So this is the same idea, however, you're doing this in decimals, okay? It's different because it's in decimals and you are focusing on the place value of decimals. So to write that one, you're going to write down 0.362, and then the first number is the number 3, right? So I'm going to write 3 times 1/10. The reason being is because it is in the tenths place. I don't know if color will help, but I'm going to do that just in case it helps. Okay? And then you're going to add, just like how this one you added it. And then the next place you have is your hundreds place. So you're going to write